Everybody, how's it going? It's been a long evening. Tried to take the kids out to see some family, and it ended up just backfiring because we got home late. Dinner went on too long. It usually takes 3 hours to eat every meal. Really pisses me off, but it is what it is. You might have noticed yesterday from the video that when you've got kids around, it's really hard to be focused. So tonight I sent them to bed before I started shooting. I took a minute to breathe before I started shooting this video as well. And let's get to it. Today's question is, how do you answer the kids when they ask about their mom? I'm not perfect in that one. I'm pretty honest and pretty brutal about it. I do tell them what's up with her, and I do add my own voice to it when I say it, and that's probably not the best way to handle it, but I do try and make it fair enough that they can also have their own honest opinions about her, and I do explain to her, to both my kids, that she still loves them, and that's tough because I don't even know if it's true sometimes. So I tell them the brutal truth. I tell them that she doesn't want to help pitch in for money. She doesn't want to see them. And the last time we did talk on the phone, we were chatting after the kids were finished chatting with her. And she told me that she didn't want to have anything to do with the kids. And the kids were still awake at that point in time, so I went into their room and I said, "Sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you say it one more time?" And I had the kids listen, and I think that's pretty harsh, but I am sick of being the bad guy when it comes to the kids. They always think that I'm the one who doesn't I don't let them call her. So whenever they want to call her, I take my phone and I dial it for them, and they can see that she doesn't answer. I think they need to see that I'm not the one stopping them from making contact with her. It's her stopping them from making contact with herself. And I don't want to be the bad guy in that. That's not fair to me. I don't want anything to backfire. I hope that when they grow up, we still have a really good relationship. And I would be devastated if when they grew up, they decided to move in with mom or go and visit mom. And I'm sure by that point she'll be open to that idea. I would be heartbroken if that ever happened. So I try not to brainwash them, but I am honest with them. So I don't know if that's the right tactic or not. I've had some family tell me that I should try and protect them from these negative things. And I don't think it's fair that they live in a dream where they think their mom is a perfect person. I also don't think it's fair for me to tell them that she's a terrible person or the worst person ever either, despite what I think. So that's a tough balance. So I just try and give them the facts. And she has outright told me that it's not fair that I say these things. And I said to her, well, if you don't like what I say about you, then stop doing those things. She stole the kids' money that came from the government last month. She doesn't pay her alimony payments. She doesn't make any effort to contact them. The month before we left Taiwan, she lived 50 minutes away from us, and I had to tell her to spend time with them before we left because she didn't want to make any effort to. And she didn't use any of our visitation times. And I had to work late a couple of nights a week. I had arrangements already in place for the kids, but I said, why don't you pick them up? Why don't you take them? And I had to make that effort to make sure she saw them before we left. So that's pretty rough. And I do explain that to the kids. I'm very upfront. I tell them that, she didn't want to make that effort. I had to tell her to do it. After we moved here, she did buy some toys for the kids. And I was outright when I said I had to tell her to buy those. And yes, she did buy them. She agreed to buy them, so that's very good. They should still be thankful to her. But they should also be aware that she didn't plan on doing that until I got upset with her about not making any efforts. So I'm pretty brutal on that side, and maybe there's room to improve. I would like to hear other people's advice and other people's opinions on how they handle it. And what are your thoughts when you do it? My reason for being very truthful is because I don't want them to grow up and then be living in a dream for 20 years and then think that mom is going to be this angel who's going to save them from this terrible dad who's so mean, who doesn't let them call, and find out the hard way that she's probably not the person that they think she is. I just want them to know who she really is. What are your thoughts on this? I think this is a really tough and a very sensitive question. And I don't know if there's necessarily a right answer for anyone. I think you also have to see the situation, see the ages of the kids, see how it affects the kids, and how you word it and how you say it is all so important too. I try and keep it relatively kind. When we first moved here, there was a lot of bitterness, there was a lot of problems, and it was hard for me to keep it calm at that point. But now that we've settled down a lot, it's much easier for me to avoid that topic, first of all, and when it does come up, I try and just keep calm, keep honest, keep fair so that one day the kids can experience their mother, and hopefully she'll be nice to them, but hopefully they'll also understand that I was the one who put in the effort, and I'm a jealous guy in that sense. So I really hope they can appreciate that. Let me know your thoughts.